Hey there, viewers. Welcome back to Ravell Trades. We are going to be working on a quick one today. I've got a Honda EU3000is inverter that I was using for powering up my 30 amp on my camper. Worked really good. I had no problem with just grabbing the pull start and giving it a pull. And usually one pull and it would fire right up. I did some service on it, things like that. But it occurred to me, since it has a battery, it probably should work. I do want to clarify something on these. And this kind of goes against the electronic training that I've had. Usually an inverter takes a constant DC power and runs an inverter off of that constant DC power. And that's how it generates a really nice 60 hertz sine wave. And so I had fully anticipated that if I had a battery inside this thing, the inverter would actually work better, right? It would be more stable, things like that. I was doing some research, and everybody that I've talked to says that no, that battery has absolutely nothing to do with how the power output is. So I don't know what the schematic looks like, but they claim that this battery is literally just for starting and has absolutely zero to do with the power output. That being said, usually inverters like to have a constant source so that the electronics have an opportunity to create the 120 volt 60 hertz AC power from a DC voltage, hence the name inverter. Whereas converter would do the opposite, right? It would take a 120 volt AC circuit service and it would turn it into a DC voltage, which would be a converter. So an inverter takes it the opposite way. It takes it from a DC source and brings it up to an AC source. That's what this is actually trying to do. That's why they're great for powering electronics, things like that, because it's a constant 120 volt, 60 hertz produced power. Inverters are definitely the way to go when you're powering up something sensitive. They're also lightweight. I mean, there's a bunch of advantages to an inverter. That being said, okay, so I'm going to put this battery in this thing. But again, they claim it has absolutely nothing to do with how it's going to produce power. It's literally just for starting this thing. Get right into it and show you what we're talking about. All right, so just have your key in your off position. Get that pulled out. This is my camper adapter, right? It just has a L530 plug on one side, twist lock on the other side, and then on this side has the TT30R, I guess is what it's called. It's a regular RV style 110 30 amp capable. So I just put that in there so that I could use my 30 amp AC RV AC outlet or receptacle. It's not really an outlet, it's an inlet, right? Anyway, pull off the 4 10 millimeter acorn nuts. Break all those loose. Try not to drop them. All right, so 4 acorn nuts. Pull off this plastic shroud, should slide right over the handle. If you're lucky enough to still have your gasket along here, just make sure you stuff it back in there. That gasket's not really doing much because it's not blocking dust and stuff, because there's louvers down here that have the ability of pulling stuff in. So I'm anticipating that the gasket is so that the metal and plastic doesn't make a vibrating noise. Here's your battery. All right, let's throw a voltmeter on this thing just to see what we're looking at. This thing's been dead for a number of years and the generator doesn't get a whole lot of use. So I'm looking at 4.3 volts on a 12 volt battery. That's not looking too good. Let's just slide this off to the side for now. Okay, we've got a negative on this side, positive on this side. Obviously the positive is red wires and the negative is the black wire. Got 2 10 millimeter bolts. It looks like I had a strap that should have been buckled down in here. So looks like it goes underneath that cable right there. You can use a 10 millimeter wrench here if you want. save this hardware, these nuts and bolts for batteries. If you're doing any kind of small engine repair, you're going to end up needing those bolts at some point in time. Pull these up to the side. Should be able to rotate this battery right out of here. Let's stuff that back. So you can see why getting the exact model battery is correct, or excuse me, why it's required. So, because there's not a whole lot of extra room there. So what came out of there, a �YTZ10S, 12 volt, 8.6 amp hour, non-spillable, yada yada. Anyway, so what I picked up was a �YTZ10S battery. This little bracket right here, when I was looking at batteries, I noticed that not all of them had something here. So I do want to make sure that if I can find a way to support that, I want to. So let's get this pulled to the side. Brand new battery. Yep, pretty close. Except for this one here doesn't have any sort of a support right there in the middle. So let's see if we can make something. Most of these batteries will come with a brand new hardware. This one's no exception. The reason I say to keep these old ones, these things have a tendency to walk out of brand new packages, and you may need these. So that's why I say hold on to your old ones. They're usually stainless. They usually don't corrode. If they are, obviously throw them away, but they're actually really good. Keep on hand. So let's see what kind of voltage we have on this thing right out of the box. 13.2 volts. Okay. We'll put that cap back on for just a second and see. Yeah, I really don't have a good way of attaching this because this is a little bit taller. Stuff this back in here, just like that. And since this is what I wanted to check, yeah, it seems to lock in place without any problem. I mean, I guess I could try to put this on there. It's not really going to give me much more than just some, strange tension, So let's see. Yeah, I mean, what the heck? It helps hold it down. Sure, we'll go with that. All right, so I always hook up the positive connector first. Here is my, I wanted to try something. Rain, this one's for you, buddy. You mentioned grab a tie wrap, and he said just grab a small piece of tie wrap. But he said when you're putting these nuts in here, just throw the tie wrap inside there, push the nut in place. I'll be darned. That really fits well. Hey, thank you so much, Rain. I really appreciate that bit of advice. Then it holds that nut up to the top area so that it was easier to get to. And yeah, you're spot on, buddy. Appreciate the tip. We'll go ahead and tighten this down. Here's the reason I'm doing the hot side first. Let's say that the negative side was hooked up. This would be a completed circuit. If I spun this ratchet around and I happen to hit metal, I would probably make a spark, right? Right now, I can touch metal all I want, and there's no spark at all because the negative is not hooked up. The rest of the circuit's not completed. That's why I do the positive first. So let's go ahead and pull this little fancy tool out. You should trademark that, buddy. All right, so let's do the exact same thing on this side. I think I already bent it pretty hard, so I'm going to have to make a new bend on there. Tell you what, this U-tube is definitely not one-sided. I get as much from you guys as y'all do from me, and hopefully you get something from me, even if it's just a laugh. All right, let's just shove that back up in there. Yeah, perfect. It held the nut right up in there in place. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, what he was saying was when you use tie wraps and you cut the ends off, just save a couple of these for stuff just like that. And that's a fantastic idea. It worked out great. Let's see, voltage. Let's just check it real quick. Yep, still 13 volts. And I'm just going to bump the key real quick, make sure that our problem is resolved. Yep. Make sure our problem's resolved before I start buttoning everything up. All right, let's make sure. So there is, just so y'all know, there is these 4 metal standoffs inside of here. These have the ability of falling out. Make sure that you put them back in, right? These right here, make sure you put them back in. Otherwise, the plastic is going to get tightened up on here and possibly break. And then if any of this foam insulation has come off, just use a glue gun and put that back on. Make sure your gasket's in place. Put the 4 acorn nuts back on. If you guys already knew that trick with using the tie wrap for those batteries, drop a comment down in the section below. I'm blown away. That actually worked out really well. It's something so simple that I never even thought of. I've always tried to jam screwdrivers in there, you know, just all kinds of strange stuff. So, or if it helps you, throw a note down in there to Rain. I'm sure he would appreciate knowing that he helped a bunch of people. All right, y'all, let's give this thing a try. Got the meter set up on here. Let's go to AC voltage. I've already got the meter plugged in. I do have a little electric heater for a load. Right now it's in the off position. My fuel's already in the on position. My eco throttle, I'm going to turn it off for right now, especially since it's so cold out here. Pull the choke on. Key on, and let's see what happens. $125.2 volts. Let's give this thing a load. So it's I think it's 1500 watt heater, dropped to 122.7 volts. Let's turn on the eco throttle. That's hardly any load for it at all because it actually ramped down even though the heater's on. You can see that the heater is definitely working. All right. Let's strip off the load. Turn the key off. Turn the key back on. Call that one a win. Battery replacement Honda 3000. Hope y'all got something out of the video. Really appreciate you hanging out. I'll catch you guys on the next one.